a few seconds as it takes a little bit to go live on this. Hey everyone, it's Mr. Michael Adams from Keep Inspiration Alive. How are you all doing tonight? So today I want to talk about really tell your story. There's a format on telling your story, and so we are going into the perspective of addiction, right? And for addicts out there who are either suffering in their own addiction, recovering in their addiction, um, recovering addicts, there's really strength in being able to tell and share your story. There's power within it, and you need to release this. I want to help people overcome the stigma of addictions that come with it, and to like let go of that fear, to really step into your most authentic self in an empowering way. And I want to help you guys. So there's a formula on sharing your story that I'd like to share with you, because I'm working on sharing my story, right? And it's the more I practice it, the more I like really reflect back on my journey. So first off, let me start off with saying that like you are doing amazing, no matter where you are within your addiction. Addiction is a life or death struggle. It's a battle, and it's an ongoing feat. Okay, now I've been off the narcotics for 6.5 years. I've been on a conscious journey of 7 year total transformation, total on a cellular body transformation journey, right? And so it basically comes down to I made a decision a while back ago. Like when I got off narcotics, I was doing some things that I came to realize that I'm a freaking miracle. Um, and take it however you want. Like I was able to get off it, and it was very challenging and very hard, and it was not an easy path for me. I came, we spoke about this in earlier episodes. I guess you could call these episodes. All right. Videos in the past, in the last few days, talking about the journey I've gone through. Words have power, change your vocabulary, change your reality type of thing. Right. And really to let go of these stigmas of addiction. So I will share this with you. So I was looking into Matthew Perry, a person from Friends, who recently passed away from, well, I'm not really sure how he passed away yet, but he was found in a jacuzzi, but he was very open about his addictions that he had. And it helps people by opening up and sharing your story. Now, when you're sharing your story, you want to come at it from an empowering frame, no matter where you're at. Again, words have power. The mind doesn't know the difference between thought and reality. So if you can frame it if you put yourself in the framework of where you're at already, that you are overcoming, that you've already overcome it, that you are empowered by your own story, that's a good way to go about it and start. And so you start at it of what your accomplishments are, where you're at right now in your life. I don't care what you think that you may be having like a victim mindset. You got to step away from the victim mindset and go into a growth mindset. A victim mindset is, whoa, boo-hoo, poor me. A lot of people in addiction seem to, I'll say we tend to, and I was a part of this as well for a very long time, and I catch myself slipping into it every once in a while. But it's really about overcoming that and going into a growth mindset, taking responsibility for the things that our actions that we have done, that we have chosen to do, and to look at it as growth, as an experience growth. And so we look at it, we look at things that we've accomplished already in life. And then you start, and here the framework of telling your story is you always start where you're at. Start with where you're at, where you're telling your story. Right? This will help inspire people. This will help people to like look upon you in admiration, because if the more people that can start sharing their story about their addictions, the more people that we can help. It creates a global ripple effect of its own. By seeing other people do it, we start to recognize that we can do it. Right? It's kind of like that monkey see, monkey do. It's what I call the monkey see, monkey do effect. Like if we see something, then we're able to do it, because now it comes within our reality, our sphere of things that we know, because you can't do things if we don't know, if we've never seen it. How can we do something if we've never seen it? But if we start seeing more and more people stepping into their own power, telling their story without shame, without anything, then it'll inspire more people. So you start off by where you're at. Okay. So where I'm at, I'm doing these videos. I've written an ebook. Right. I've helped people. I've been in communities, in um, online and Facebook groups where I originally was helping people when I was getting clean. All right. And while I was getting clean, I was able to be in a place where I was able to help a lot of people through sharing my experience while I was going through the thick of it. So you start off with whatever accomplishments you have, whatever it is you're doing, wherever you're at. And you can just say, like, I have a job, I'm doing this, and look at the dynamics of the places of what you are doing and what you've worked on, and find the things that are uplifting, things that you trying to think how to word this. Find an empowering stance where you're at in life. There are dynamics where you're probably helping people, and that's a good place to start. Like, start from there. You start off by like sharing that. So, like, for me, example, I'm building a business revolving around helping addiction people who are wanting help, people recovering addicts that are striving to stay sober and to create something more because they see something higher. They're in the spiritual growth, personal development, personal growth, and they want more. They see that there's more to life, and they help people, right? And so I'm building a business revolving around that to help people identify their own authenticity, right? Live a joyful life, step away from the stories that we've told. And then, so from there, okay, so you start off at a high, right? And then you go into your rock bottom. You want to do, it's called like the cliff. I call it the cliff storytelling. I think that's the name of it. It might be just called something else, but think of it like a cliff. You're on the cliff. Here you are. You then go to your rock bottom. When you're telling your story, talk about your rock bottom and how you climbed out. This makes you relatable. This will make people be like, hey, I can identify with this person. Okay, so here I am now, my rock bottom. My rock bottom, it was, passing out, starvation, passed out like 5 different times. See, I'm still working on my story as well. And I'm been working a lot behind the scenes, and I haven't really put the time in as recently to format this in the proper way. So I'm kind of like doing these lives every single night as it's forcing me to grow. It's forcing me to grow and really think about my story each and every day as I do these videos, even though I'm not like putting the time in so much throughout the day to like actually write it down, but I need to, and I'm going to, and I have written it down in the past. I've fallen off of it. So rock bottom, climb your way out. So here I am, rock bottom, climb your way out, back to where you're at. And it shows and it teaches people what you've gone through. So again, rock bottom for me, lost a lot of weight, passed out. I was laying on my floor in a pool of my own blood. I broke my own nose. I ended up changing my life. I realized I made a lot of mistakes, and I ended up abandoning my old lifestyle. This is me climbing back out. So once I like hit that rock bottom, realized when I made phone calls to my friends when I thought I was literally dying in a pool of my own blood, not very many people took me serious. And that was when I realized that I made a lot of mistakes, and my so-called friends were not really my friends. And that made me go, that opened my eyes a lot. And so like I started to reevaluate every dynamic of my life and the life choices and things that I've made. And I started to reevaluate my circles of friends and who I was really hanging out with and who was healthy and who was not healthy, and the actions and this that led me to get into the situation that I was in, where I was lying on the floor thinking that I was going to die in a pool of my own blood. Okay. And then, as I climbed my way out of that, right? So I climbed my way out of hell. I like dug a secret passageway out of it. And so like that was when I abandoned my life. So we're climbing back out, right? This is the climb out part of the rock bottom, climbing back out into the storytelling. So think about this within your story, your journey. Where are you? What was your rock bottom? And how did you climb out of your rock bottom to get to where you are right now? Stay in an empowering stance, stay in an empower, keep it in an empowering mindset, and try not to fall into the victim mindset. Growth mindset. So think about, how was it that you climbed out of your rock bottom and to move forward? Mine, I climbed out by abandoning my old lifestyle. And when I say I abandoned my old lifestyle, I abandoned every dynamic of it. From the music I listened to, I was a punk rocker. I listened to nothing but punk rock. I was a second generation punk rocker. I was pretty in the scene. I hung out with a lot of band members here in Southern California, punk rockers, very much in the scene. I was in a band myself and played music, hung around a lot of those people. And I realized that the music was not so healthy because a lot of it was revolving around drugs. And so I got rid of that. I got rid of all my friends. I transferred over 5 friends. I really evaluated all my friends within my circle that I was hanging out with. I came to identify there were probably about 5 people that were actually uplifting, that were not into the drug scene, and I kept them. Other than that, I pretty much burned all my bridges by everyone that was in the drug scene, realizing that they didn't really care anything about me. They only cared about the drugs. And that was a harsh realization of my own. I abandoned every dynamic. I became a hermit, stayed at home all the day, all the time, to stay away from the scene of the drugs, because I knew that my life would get to that level of falling back in if I continued to do that choices, the lifestyle that I was living. Think about your lifestyle, where you've been at, what you've done. And so tell your story. You need to tell your story. Open up, tell your story, because by telling your story on another level, it helps you to identify choices that you've made that were good or bad, the dynamics of moving forward, um, the dynamics of what is healthy for you, what got you there. You start to realize some of the mistakes you've made, and you start to identify some of your unresolved issues that have gotten you to that level as well. And there you have it. So I'm trying to keep these at like a 15-minute. I was taught by Kabir Wolf to really start talking about my story, to be able to tell my story in a 15-minute format, and I'm working on that. This is something I've been familiar with the 15-minute format of telling your story, and it's challenging. It's really challenging. So this is how I know how to do it, and this is how I want to teach you guys to do it. And so think about it. Visualize yourself. You can be up on stage talking to people around the world. That is definitely something that people do. There are stage talkers. There are people that go around the world, and there are people always looking for people that are willing to do public speaking, especially on this dynamic. You can go to rehabs. This is something I'm kind of thinking about doing as well. I'm not sure how to go about that. Maybe if anyone in watching this could kind of like knows how to do that, or knows people, or like, could help guide me to do that, that would be amazing. But I know these are dynamics. Public speaking is the highest paid profession in the world. Let me repeat that. Public speaking is the highest paid profession in the world. That there can be the empowerment stance that can help pull you through, just knowing that by telling your story, you can not only save lives, but you can be at the highest ranking paid profession in the entire world. So that's something to really think about. So that's something to like inspire you to try and tell your story, to like build up the courage to tell your story. Start writing it down, start practicing, create small groups, create groups in Facebook, create a small group of your friends, and start going live on these videos. You can do it privately in your own groups. You can do it in groups where they allow you to do it. You can start just doing it on lives. You can start being more public. You can go places and start talking and be more vocal and help people around the world. So there you have it. Step into your own power. Where are you at? What was your rock bottom? And how did you climb out? And I want to get to know you, and I would like to help empower people to tell their story. I'm looking to work with people who really want to change, people who have that mindset that I will do whatever it takes to change, because I see people who are spiritual, in like spirituality, and I'm very much into like the woo woo spirituality stuff. And it's very fascinating. There's a lot of to that, yogis, meditation, um, self healing. And there's a lot of stuff dynamics to these, and these are the people that I am positioning myself to be available to be a service to. So there you go. I'm about at the 15-minute mark. I'm Mr. Michael Adams. This is Keep Inspiration Alive. Global Inspiration Nation, you are very powerful, and you can tell your story, and you can and will save a lot of people's lives by just opening up and sharing your story. See you next time.